Yeah, that's actually the best way to communicate a criticism, because behind every criticism is a need. Your partner has a need. And what's happened when they criticize you is that they don't feel safe to express that need, but they do feel comfortable saying a criticism. But how you change that and make it more productive is just 3 steps. You start with feel. I am, I feel. You start with a feeling. You state exactly what you're upset about, the actual event, and then you say what you need. So event, and then need. What I mean by this is, I feel upset when you come home late. Yeah, I need you to let me know when you're going to be late. Or what people who break up, they'll say things like, you're so selfish, you don't care about me, this is what you always do, I don't even want to talk to you. They do the opposite. Whereas if I say and you state your feeling, you stay on the specific event that upset you, and then you explain to them what you need from them, that leads to constructive communication for couples.
That's amazing. What's the solution to that?
It's dedicated time.
Yeah.
It's prioritizing. What I mean by that is, no matter how great your business is, no matter how important, I'm speaking for myself as well, because sometimes I get carried away with it. No matter how important all of these things is, they mean nothing when you have no one to share that success with.
100%. You don't want to be on the mountain on your own.
Absolutely. You don't. Here's the thing. We all get sick. We all get old. Yeah. Now, all of the business deals, all of those things, none of these people are going to be there when you get sick and old. Yeah. They're not even going to care when we pass away. So when we sacrifice connections to kind of prioritize success, we're measuring success incorrectly. Success is measured by the people that will be there when you aren't successful. How many of those relationships have you cultivated? Now, if you're very financially successful, but the people that would be there for you if you weren't financially successful is getting less and less, you are not successful. Does that make any sense? It didn't make sense to me.
No, it makes complete sense, because I think especially like as you're building like a business, your network is getting bigger.
Yeah.
And like that's a big thing, is that you want to build your network and you want to do that. But then there's a clear distinction between who's a business partner or someone that you just collaborate with, and then someone who's actually there for you. You know?
Exactly that.
And
The network is getting bigger, but it doesn't mean it's getting stronger.
100%. And then there's because I can always say that you can count on like one hand how many close friends I have. And I don't want to extend that as well. And you must be obviously very cognizant of it too, because like your content has blown up. So you can imagine when people that would contact you, be like, hey, you want to go for dinner?
What's really hard with what's really hard with my life, what I find, because of like when you've got a career like yours, it's niche. So whatever it is, whatever intelligence or success or whatever it is, only people in the know. Because my kind of business is something that everybody can relate to, because it's about human nature. When I meet somebody and I talk to them, just because that's how I talk, they think we're best friends. They're like, she's my best friend. You're gonna, and I'm like, what was your name again? Because I'm so connected to that human kind of activation that people connect to me very quickly. But I just, unfortunately, I always say to everybody, I only have 2 hands. I'm so sorry. But I do love that, because what happens is people feel connected very quickly and easily. It's just that unfortunately, I don't always have the time to nurture those connections. So it's a bit annoying. So that's the only thing that I find difficult. Have you managed to maintain all your connections as you become busier?
To some degree. I have to be more concise with my time.
Yeah.
For sure. And just more like time allocated, whether I meet people or whether I allocate time for like WhatsApp messages. Like
How's your relationship with your parents since you've got busier?
Good, but see, they live in Ireland and I live in Singapore. So obviously I saw them at Christmas, but I had some before that for like a year. What I'd love to do, and what I always say this as well, is that I'd love to build a house in Asia and have my parents live there.
Yeah, I need my parents. I'm missing them as well at the moment. They keep messaging me here and there, and I always say, oh yeah, I'll message back and stuff. And I just haven't had a chance recently.
I try to put up time for calls. I always do that. So
very stressful.
Because they live in like the middle of fucking nowhere in Ireland. So I try to do like video calls when I can and things like this, but trying to build that framework.
They're happy for you though? They're proud?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I think they saw that I was quite disgruntled, I guess, in like the 9-to-5 kind of setup and how that kind of went.
Very soul destroying.
Yeah, so it's kind of good. I want to ask you about marriage. Do you think we need to get married? People need to get married.
Especially men.
Yeah.
Especially men. They need marriage so much. What happens is men seem to think, especially in this day and age, because of the toxic culture of relationships, they're like, we've got all the time in the world. We don't have a biological clock, but you have a financial clock. And when you're single, you waste so much of your time, money, and energy. I promise you. Table hose, I can say that, right?
Of course,
dating randomly, this, that, and the other, women draining your energy and resources. It is such a waste of your precious precious energy. Now, when you have a wife, what it does, of course, she's annoying. And I'm not saying that she's going to be perfect. And of course, she stresses you out, whatever it is. But that box is ticked. You're not on the streets. You're not worrying about who's texting you back, where you're going, this, that. When you've got business meetings, you're not thinking, oh God, we're going to get a table. I need to get girls on this table. You know, like you don't have to have those worries and stresses. So what having one woman does is, firstly, it gives you that sense of stability, and it helps you financially because you've got one person rather than spreading it out thinly and spreading it in clubs and stuff like that, which a lot of single people do. The other thing it does is she maintains your, if you pick wisely, this is the key, if you pick wisely, she encourages you to focus on your mental and spiritual and physical health at the same time. If you pick wisely, vetting is everything. But when you pick a good woman, hopefully you set the boundaries correctly, which a lot of successful men don't. But if you do, what she'll do is when you're stressed, working, she'll be like, you've got that backache. Have you gone to the doctor yet? You know, she'll nag you, but she keeps you in check. Now, when you meet those really successful men that don't have that, what happens is they look after themselves aesthetically, but not internally. So they'll be in the gym all the time because they're always single and stuff, but internally they'll have a knee problem for 4 years, or, you know, they'll have a broken brain cell and that they haven't checked out on. And so there is so much to gain from marriage from a man, so much. And there's so much that you can lose as a man when you're just single, especially when you're making money. Single with money, dangerous.
I agree. What are some of the factors to consider in a partner to get married?
I would say the main factor in a marriage is it's not so much about your partner, it's about your boundaries. Yeah, I would say it's, instead of a partner, they need to be this, for that, and the other. It's more about when you're selecting a partner, you need to stay loyal and on your boundaries. What I mean by this is, if you have a partner and she's beautiful, she's intelligent, she's so great, but she keeps breaking your boundaries, she keeps disrespecting you, she doesn't, listen to your advice, or she keeps, in contact with an ex, or there's something going on that's a deal breaker. Every time you forgive that deal breaker, it will come back magnified. So when you pick a partner, when you're watching out for the deal breakers and you're using those deal breakers as a signal that that she's not good for you, you will pick correctly. But if you ignore deal breakers and think she'll get better, I can change her, if I just throw a bit of money at her, she'll start behaving, you're guaranteeing the divorce.
What about from a female perspective? Because women will often say, like, oh, I'll fix him, or I can fix the bad guy, or whatever. But why is there that attachment? Is that to do with childhood?
Well, yeah, unfortunately, what happens with people who have struggled with connections with their parents in their childhood, they either had to earn the love or didn't receive the love, or it was negative or hostile. They seem to think that having to earn or create love in a person and get them to finally love you is normal. They think you have to work at it. They think you have to beg them. They think you have to kind of get them and be patient. But really, people don't respect the person who accepts their unacceptable behavior. So if I'm unacceptable, if I'm disloyal to you and I'm swearing at you and I'm rude to you and you still want to be with me, I automatically don't love you anymore. And the reason for that is because you've shown me I can be my worst and you'll accept it. And I don't want to be my worst. We all want to be our best. I don't want to be hitting my husband and swearing at him. When he accepts that, there's a part of us that says, why are you taking this? As much as we might cry and beg you to take us back, we don't like it. Whereas when a man sets boundaries for us, as much as it's difficult, we know it's going to bring out the best in us. So when we accept the unacceptable, we remove the connection rather than create it.
How do you communicate that with your partner?
Every time, his boundaries are really nice and easy. Every time you feel uncomfortable with a behavior, you don't wait for it to then become a deal breaker. So, for example, I don't like my partner's coming home late a couple of times. I don't wait for it to be staying over, getting worse, then say something. Because what happens is I wait for it to get too far. The resentment's got too much and now it's hard to undo. I voice it in that moment. I listen to the part of my soul that's saying, I don't like this. And I say it to them calmly, rather than bottling, then exploding. Because then the partner's like, what's wrong with you? So I say it calmly in the beginning, calmly. Let them know your boundaries. Now, if you've got a good partner, they'll be like, oh, sorry, shit, yeah, it's just a couple of days. I'll be home, don't worry, yeah? But when you've got a partner that's like, I do what I want, it's a signal that they're not looking to compromise.
Friction.
You don't have to break up with them, and you don't have to scream and shout and fight with them, but it is a signal that you can't ignore.
So I mentioned to you that I did like a lot of like rounds of therapy or whatever you would call it, like meetings, whatever you call it. And one thing that I always learned that was like so helpful was like, you never say like you. So like, you're wrong. Like, you came in fucking late. You did all this wrong. Instead it's like, I feel upset when this happens. So I still haven't said the word you. Yeah. So I say, so let's just talk about hypothetical scenario. So you said coming home late. Yeah. Like, I feel like worried when I have to go to bed on my own. Like this. And then the other person's like, oh fuck, you know, now I finally understand how you feel, and I'll make the change. Yeah. And just by making those small changes, my relationship has like massively improved. Amazing, over the course of a year. Because I'm even like non-related to the relationship, just even like communicating how you actually feel about stuff. Yeah. So like, instead of me being like, oh, that guy's a prick, or that person like did me wrong or whatever, it's like, I feel frustrated because this has now happened, and now I have to make this like change or whatever. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Sadia Khan, and you might know me as a leading dating coach in modern relationships today. I work with men every single day to help give them the blueprint of understanding relationships, women, attraction, and self-esteem. So if you are feeling stuck in your relationships and you want to unlock your full potential, work with me today by clicking on the link, and I look forward to hearing from you.